An Autistic Near-Death Experience, written by Dr. Lucas Paulik. I can barely see through the driving snow. I'm driving in the icy lane. 5 vehicles are parked like toy cars on a junction covered in ice and snow. It's the 4th accident scene that disappears in my rearview mirror. I look back at the road in front of me. In the distance, at the beginning of the bend, I see a concrete barrier in front of a roadworks site blocking my lane. I change lanes. A car behind me starts drifting while changing lanes and hits my rear bumper. To avoid losing control of my vehicle, I steer back into the lane that ends at the concrete barrier. The road near the construction site is covered in thick ice. The brakes and wheels are going nowhere. My car shoots toward the concrete barrier like a projectile. It's all over! A last faint thought disappears in a death scream. My eyes go black. My consciousness awakens in complete blackness. Then I feel myself flying up into the sky as if the scream had catapulted my soul into the heavens. With this sensory impression, the sensitivity of my soul body returns, and I open my eyes. The scene of the accident is barely recognizable. I am flying. High into the night sky, bathed in golden light myself, I fly towards a light in the deepest depths of space. The distant light is like an undertow, and an overwhelming speed pulls me towards it. A feeling of joy and coming home flows through me as I leave the hardships of human life behind. During my flight, my life memories fall from the heights of the sky. A trail like a comet tail woven with golden sparks, a trail pours down from the sky, and large panels, which appear as small, flashing light images, fall with it. The panels shatter and leave behind 3-dimensional memories as they fall as if they possessed the geometry of another world. As I look at my memories falling to earth, I notice my deceased friend and mentor Heinz von Förster, who climbs out of one of my memories and floats in the sky. He laughs and calls out to me, "But Lucas, we are constructivists. We decide how we see our lives." A shiver of bliss runs through me when I see Heinz again for the first time so long after his death. Full of joie de vivre, golden red lightning flashes from the images of my life traveling skywards. A web of fiery lightning races towards my soul. They strike me, unite in me, and dissolve me. A shiver of bliss runs through me when I see Heinz again for the first time so long after his death. I instantly feel understood and seen. Everything is here and now. I feel seen, and suddenly I can see. The flow of golden red flashes that connect my life memories is reversed. Now, falling into a black hole, I feel my soul body being stretched up into the sky. A magnificent web of fiery golden red lightning grows from my memories and races towards my soul. 1,000 lightning bolts flash through my soul and melt into it. As if falling into a black hole, I feel my soul body stretched further until it dissolves entirely into one of my memories. It is night. I see myself sitting beside my friend Florian in the car, my eyes wide open. My arms clutch the passenger seat as he tries determinedly to get our car out of the town on the ice-covered road. The car's rear and front alternately swerve to the left and right. Time and again, Florian manages to avoid one of the tree-high electricity pylons at the side of the road at the last moment by deliberately stepping on the gas pedal. Each of his evasive maneuvers makes us drift faster toward the next tree-thick electricity tower on the opposite side of the road. Every electricity pylon is just as deadly on impact as the houses at the side of the road. We miss the town sign by a hair's breadth and make it onto the country road. A deep ditch gapes to the left and right. Behind it, snow-covered fields stretch to the end of the horizon. We glide over the dark, icy country road in our car like bobsleigh riders. A crash into the ditch is inevitable. My fear distorts every other feeling, every perception, every decision. Florian seems unnaturally calm, even joyfully determined. We have escaped the deadliest obstacles. His eyes search for the best accessible spot. He steps on the gas pedal with all his might. The country road becomes a ski jump. We take off over the ditch. The car flies over the ditch in a high arc. Weightlessness and silence spread through me. Even before the car begins its descent, my soul glides through the roof into the sky again. From a distance, I can still see our tiny car landing on the snow-covered field and racing across the field toward the hill on the horizon. Then, my memory dissolves into a lightless nothingness. In the state of non-being, I also feel the movement of my life memories. Their flow comes to an abrupt halt, and I fall out of the state of hyperreality. As my consciousness awakens, I see myself sitting next to my friend Wolfgang in the thick fog of the steam sauna. He tells me about his accident. An SUV at a junction hit him and his car from the side. The driver had overlooked a red light. Wolfgang's face lights up as he tells me about his hip fracture and the last 2 months of rehab. What a fortune that the accident happened to me in the city. I did some research and did the math. At 50 kilometers per hour, the SUV would have crushed me in my car. Fortunately, the driver was a pensioner who was already unsure of himself when driving. That's why he only drove 45 kilometers per hour in the city. A very nice gentleman. He was very sorry. "You're just a lucky man. You couldn't have broken your hip any better," I hear myself say, and Wolfgang and I burst out laughing. I watch and learn. Wolfgang explains every detail of the accident to me, and what would have happened if something had been different. In a nutshell, what the chances of survival are at what speed, at what angle, and with which car. I enjoy his soft, raspy bass voice and find peace in this memory. Then I hear Wolfgang say, "Fortunately, the accident didn't happen on the highway. Even if I had survived the first collision, I would have been crushed in a pile-up. This statement destroys my sphere of well-being. I remember that I am in acute mortal danger on the highway. My memory dissolves. A stream of golden images resounds in all spectral colors, engulfing and flooding me. I am in a synesthetic network of tunnels that arch up into a multidimensional space. A place has opened up, similar to long-forgotten dreams from my childhood. When life was hard during the day, I flew to the river of light at the center of the universe at night to dissolve into its security, to reappear in the world of almost unlimited possibilities of dreaming. But this time, it felt more than real, like I was at the center of a golden sun, a living hyper-reality. Never in my life have I felt more whole and alive. Everything is and is not the fulcrum of reality, the space of possibility. My vision disappears. I wake up in the next memory. I see myself in the migration house, head first, doing a flying roll across the floor and getting up again with a smooth roll across my shoulder blade. At the end of my working day, I had given Mohammed, a young man from Syria, private lessons in rolling. If the speed and angle are right, you can use the resistance of the ground to redirect the force of the impact. Then the resistance becomes a tool for your movement, just like an object becomes useful because it opposes your actions, I explain, and Mohammed looks at me questioningly. Think about throwing stones. If you throw a stone at the right angle and with momentum against the water's surface, it won't sink immediately, but can bounce several times over the water. The force of the impact is spread over several jumps, I hear myself say as I see myself as a child throwing stones across the Danube. As the memory fades with the sinking of the stone, I'm back behind the wheel of my car, just in time to put my plan into action. I turn the steering wheel, the rear swerves, causing me to crash headfirst into the concrete barrier instead of head-on. Like a bomb, it tears the outer part of the tire apart, and the rest, together with the broken axle, is pushed deep into my car's engine like a diving stick. I lose consciousness in the process. Thrown into the air by the impact, the car flies over the concrete barrier in a spiraled roll. Shortly before the impact, I regain consciousness. Up is down. I see the ground hurtling towards me. Everything inside me screams, "No!" Sparks fly. The top of my car hits the road first, and thanks to the thick layer of ice and snow, shoots across the second remaining lane in a crumpled heap before coming to a halt, lying on its roof on the opposite hard shoulder at the end of the bend. I don't notice any of this because my perception ends on impact. Dark light. In my unconsciousness, I experience the connection with all life on Earth. In my consciousness, I see countless communicating crystals that glow and flash in different colors. Infinitely small golden stars sparkle everywhere. Light and dark, inside and outside, merge together. I feel lost, then united with the sphere of life, and I feel myself fighting for my rebirth and against my extinction. After about 20 minutes, I regain consciousness. At first, I can perceive nothing but droning and glowing, and then I can only make out glaring outlines. I scream. The first clear impression is that I'm hitting my face against a concrete wall. Then, the roar and glow fade. I see that the concrete wall is actually the icy asphalt of the breakdown lane. The skid on the ice must have dented the roof and windshield so badly that the car came to a halt just a hair's breadth before the asphalt could crush my head. To make sure I'm not hallucinating again, I move my head forward a little and press my face, nose, and forehead against the dark hole in the windshield. I can feel the ice and the cold of the concrete penetrating my aching skull and cooling my head. If someone drives into the back of my car now, all that will be left of my head is bloody mud, my first clear thought warns me. I check my body with the micro-movements of my spine. Then I brace my legs against the remaining roof of the car. I manage to undo the seatbelt with one hand. The window behind me is wide enough for me to screw myself through. Fortunately, the impact knocked almost all the glass out of the frame. My legs are already resting on the ice floor when someone holds out their hand to me. I hear a worried voice. "Don't move! You could die!" I grab the outstretched hand, use the momentum to screw myself entirely out of the car, and stand up with a roll across the snow-covered ice floor. I take a few steps. That's when I notice that my head is bleeding. I carefully reach into my hair and touch the wound with my fingertips. Very good. Bones. No brain. Superficial. I lick the salty warm blood from my fingers and look into the darkness of the night. I am here again. Life is incredible. What a divine gift to be alive.